You cannot be mean to yourself and love yourself at the same time. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it's not in a line, which means it is not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss why it's so important to be nice to yourself and how to stop being mean to yourself if you struggle with that, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and just certain things that you should be aware of. So starting off with the first disclaimer, starting off with the introduction, you cannot be mean to yourself and love yourself at the same time. Now, it's not to say that your feelings are not valid, the anger, the frustration, the pain, the grief, the struggling, suffering, but it's not healthy for you to sit here and constantly self-sabotage over and over again, when you say you love yourself, because that is not a form of love. Having emotions, validating your emotions, yes, that's loving. So when you're sad, crying. When you're angry, expressing you're angry. When you're frustrated, allowing yourself to relax. But to stay in this mindset, to stay in this energy, to project that onto people or to receive that from deflections of other people is not okay. So it's common to be angry. It's common to be mad. It's not normal to have anger issues. It's not normal to self-sabotage. It's not normal to be envious. It's not. And I've made a video talking about that, but that's a different topic within itself. So the second disclaimer, because it's a lot that we could say when it comes to you learning to be nice to yourself, is to realize why you find it so difficult and why you find it so challenging. A lot of the reasons why you may struggle with learning to be nicer to yourself and being patient with yourself is because you were never given the patience. You were never given the words of encouragement. You were never given validation or reassurance. You have to realize that with every issue, there is a root, the cause and the effect. So if you grew up in a household where you weren't able to be vulnerable, it was considered to be a weakness, subconsciously you pick up on those things. And based off of what you're taught and shown, you will start to shrink. You start to self-sabotage. And this is why a lot of times people, grown adults, have a lot of trauma that they've been dealing with since they were a child, because it was never brought up to them. It was never safe for them. If you never had an ability to be yourself without judgment, shame, or fear, you may not want to speak up about certain situations and how they affect you, or you're used to people gaslighting you and manipulating you. You have to realize that it is not okay for you to continue to be hard on yourself if you weren't given the resources and the tools. So you have to learn that yes, you were a victim, but just because you were a victim doesn't mean that you have to continue to stay there. And it's so important that you don't invalidate the trauma, because a lot of you all watching this have been traumatized mentally, emotionally, psychologically, verbally, physically, and even financially. You've dealt with a lot of people who did not know how to communicate. You dealt with family members not speaking up, giving you the silent treatment. You dealt with people trying to sit here and gaslight you, manipulate you. You dealt with a lot of just low vibrational people. And even if you haven't, you never had the confidence, because once again, no one around you could show you how to be secure in yourself. Or you pick up on what people show you because people are influenced, whether it's your parents, whether it's your coworkers, your classmates, your neighborhood, whoever it is, extracurricular activities that your work, but it starts with the home. So let's be honest, it's not fair for you. And that's what I've realized, what helps me along my healing journey. I'm not about to sit here and beat myself up when I've had to learn how to deal with certain emotions because I didn't have the certain resources or certain adults or certain people around me to pour into me when it comes to certain things. It doesn't make sense to continue to beat yourself up. And once you allow yourself that grace, number 4, you will start to realize the pattern. You will start to realize when you're self-sabotaging. You will start to realize, okay, what is triggering here? Whether it's physical triggers, mental triggers, emotional triggers, financial triggers, what is it that's causing me to get immediately angry? What is it that caused me immediately to start crying? What is it that automatically gets me to feel like I have to prove a point or be aggressive, or why do I feel this way? And once you're able to start picking up on that pattern, then finally, before we get to the recommendations, you can learn how to react or respond. And when you learn how to react and respond, what you say, what you do will change, which causes you to be nicer to yourself, which causes you to be more compassionate to yourself, which causes you to be more loving and nurturing. And it doesn't matter your gender. Both men and women need nurturing and love. Everybody needs nurturing and love. It doesn't matter your race. Everybody needs to be nurtured and loved, because when people are not nurtured and loved properly, that's where the dysfunction comes from. That's where the confusion comes from. That's where the chaos comes from. That's where the corruption comes from, and etc. So when it comes to the first recommendation, in order for you to start being nice to yourself, I want you to start practicing, which is similar to the recommendation, but I'm going to be specific, to, in the moment, acknowledge why you feel that way. So if you just sat here and said, oh, I hate my life because I'm not where I want to be, I want you to ask yourself why. And I want you to verbally ask yourself out loud. If you don't have a therapist, if you're not seeing a psychiatrist, if you're not booking a service and session with me, click that link in the description. If you don't have somebody that you can confide in, or if you're into spirituality and religion, take what resonates, leave the rest, because I'm not here to force it upon you. If you're not going to God, if you're not going to Allah, if you're not going to Buddha, if you're not going to Yahweh, if you're not going to whomever, Orisha or Jesus, you need to be able to start questioning why you feel the way you do. Let's get it out in the moment. Because in order to recognize pattern recognition, you have to be able to clock it, as the kids like to say. You got to start clocking it in the moment. You can't allow it to linger. When you don't peep certain vibes, certain tones, certain moods, certain energies in the moment, it will linger. And that's the reason why, too, you're being hard on yourself. So why do you feel like you hate yourself? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. What was I about to say? Let me know in the comment section, or let me know in your notes, or let your therapist know, or the person that you're finding, because you know why you feel angry. Now, once you start being aware of why you feel the way you do, the second recommendation is allowing yourself to feel the anger or frustration. Until you work on this, until you practice this, until you're somebody who's constantly putting energy and effort, it's going to be frustrating and overwhelming at first. It's going to require a lot, because once again, you have to think about it. Imagine trying to teach a young person how to deal with their emotions. This is 20, 30, 40, 50 years of you not knowing how to articulate yourself, not you having the emotional intelligence or you having confidence. This is not something that just happens in a day. It's a work in progress. And you won't feel the need to rush or compare yourself or feel like you are schizophrenic or that you're crazy or any of these things once you realize you went through the things that you went through. And that's the third recommendation. Not everybody lives the life that you live, so nobody knows how you felt. You have to stop being hard on yourself, because you know what it's like to go to sleep and cry yourself to sleep. You know what it's like when you went through the suffering, the abuse. Nobody knows how you felt. And if people were around and they didn't pour into you, they didn't help you, they laughed at you, nobody knows how you feel. Because what happens is, when people don't learn how to resolve their anger and their frustration from themselves and other people, they end up murdering people, they end up raping people, they end up killing people. This is why there's a lot of wars and, like I said, confusion, corruptions, and manipulations, because people have not been, especially men, because those are the people that want to be in charge so bad, who have not dealt with their emotions. Women as well too. That's a different topic within itself. We're going to keep it cute. But yeah, both men and women, but I'm specifically going to say men, because they're quote unquote the quote unquote authority figures. How are you an authority figure and you're her, anyways, it's not fair for you to sit here and beat yourself up when you weren't even taught and shown, or you weren't even given the access to do so. So I need you to validate your emotions. That was the fourth recommendation. Learn how to validate your anger. Learn how to be frustrated. It is okay. You don't always have to be in a good mood all the time when you're going through things. I will say though, in general, over here, I am somebody who loves to be in a high vibration, which means I do like to control my emotions. I don't like to be in my feelings all day, every day. And I genuinely, like, voila, I mean that. Like, a lot of people say that, but it's like, if they said that, they wouldn't be so quick to be so reactive in response. And of course, I'm speaking from experience. I am 29. I have lived for 29 years. So there is that. Don't compare yourself to people. But it's like, you're going to have to continue to process this. You're going to have to continue to work on it. Like, if you're not seeking, I have something in my eye. If you're not seeking assistance, because learning how to deal with your emotions by yourself could be extremely overwhelming. And this is why I created this platform, because you're not the only person. And a lot of times too, when you are this way, it's because of people like provoking you and harassing you. Like, you need to validate how you feel and not be embarrassed or ashamed. Like, me personally, all the times I've had my moments where I quote unquote crashed out definitely was not the best way to handle it, looking at it now from a mature level. But in the moment, I did what I did because that's how I felt and that's all I knew. And I wasn't crashing out because I just like to start problems with people, or I just need to feel like, oh, I'm all this. No, it's just I have emotions, and unfortunately, because I've encountered a lot of people who've not been regulated or been taught morals and integrity, people just felt like they could just say and do certain things and it not be checked. You need to know when to check people and when to separate yourself. Like, I've dealt with a lot of narcissistic, envious, low vibrational people in like communities, works, people that I was related to, and it's just like, I'm not wrong for going off on you. That's like my biggest pet peeve. People who sit here and try to start problems with people, but then they never take accountability because they don't have the emotional intelligence to understand perspective. And this is another reason why too, you have to stop being hard on yourself. You got to stop sabotaging yourself. Because if you dealt with people, like I've dealt with adults growing up as a child who would withhold support from me. I've dealt with people sabotaging me in my workplace. I've dealt with people try to sabotage me in my immediate family. I've dealt with a lot of it. And instead of me pew 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 every single one of them in their throat chakra, because I've just had to realize, okay, I'm not about to sit here and beat myself up. If I only had at the time a biological parent who worked very hard, who was deceased, and I was the only person that was there to like pour into me, I didn't have any other like people like amongst me to, like I said, the adults that were supposed to be, some of them were good, some of them were bad. I'm not about to sit here and beat myself up. And you have to realize that once you realize that people are angry, once you realize certain people are negative, once you realize people don't have the emotional capacity, don't judge them. You can either allow them to be patient with you and vice versa, and you all work together, or you just separate yourself. But it's no reason to continue to be angry and frustrated, especially when it's out of your control. Especially if, like I said, you realize you don't have to be so overwhelmed. You don't have to be so overly attached. Like, when it came to the people getting me fired, like in the moment, yes, feel how you feel. And like I said, my videos are for people who are constantly working on themselves. So if you're not constantly working on yourself, this is your first video, you need to watch all the other ones. If you're constantly watching these videos and you're constantly taking notes, you're constantly going to be working on it, you're going to see improvement. But it's like, yes, when I got fired in the moment, people got me fired in on my job, yes, in the moment, yes, I had every right to feel frustrated and disappointed and just in disbelief. But I couldn't sit here and continue to allow those emotions to get to me, because when you allow your negative emotions to get to you and you self-sabotaging, you end up on a spiral. Like, I could have lost my mind, the amount of trauma that I've experienced and witnessed from other people. And that's going to be the next video that I talk about. So yeah, but it's like, it's no reason to self-sabotage. You need to figure out why you're self-sabotaging. You need to realize how you feel and what you can do. So if you self-sabotage a lot, you have negative thoughts, you have negative emotions, or you're around negative people and you're tired of it, like this video, share, resonate, let me know what you need to work on in the comment section, as well as on my social media platforms, all the information in the description, or book your service in your session. But I love you, you're loved, you're not alone. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.